Hey everyone, this is Dr. Angie and Megan from Bright Futures Chiropractic, and we are going to be doing our Wednesday bump day. So instead of
hump day,
we're doing bump day.
Bump day.
So it's really exciting and really excited. So if you're pregnant, we are going to be starting at week 16 because
I am 16 weeks pregnant with my first, so I've just started getting into maternity clothes, which are really weird when you're not 100% filled out all the way yet. And we just did our pregnancy announcement, so we're super excited, and I feel like I'm constantly learning things from all the pregnant mamas that come in here, from Dr. Angie, because she is, 6 months postpartum?
Yep. 6 months postpartum.
So we're going to be doing a little bit of both. We're going to talk about postpartum, I want to say support, things that you're going through, and then just what I'm going through, because I feel like we feel like it touches both ends of the spectrum, because, yeah.
Absolutely, and we're going to be following the Mama Naturals book. It's a book, it goes week by week throughout your pregnancy, and it does a good job of addressing different things from different perspectives. So on week 16 this week on Mama Naturals, they're talking about doulas and meeting your birth angel. And so let's talk a little bit about doulas. So doulas are a emotional and physical support. They're an individual who may be a family member, but in most cases is someone who isn't related to you but is there to support you. They meet with you during your pregnancy to find out what are your birth wishes and birth desires. They're there with you at your birth to help support, and then they're there with most of them do postpartum visits to take a look and see how bonding is going, how breastfeeding is going. So have you guys thought about it, talked about it?
So we are doing a midwife in a hospital, in a birthing center. So that was one of the first things that they kind of made sure to at least mention, having a doula, because it is.
They mentioned it at the.
They did at our.
That's awesome.
I think at our first appointment, maybe our second appointment.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure. But basically, that just look into it as a way to support both mom and dad, and I think that was what really triggered my husband's ear, because he was like, we don't need a doula, we have a midwife, we're both there, why do we need to have another person there? But it really triggered that it's an emotional support, not just for me, the mom, but also for him. And I feel like a lot of people don't think about it in that way until it's mentioned to them. So this actually worked out to be really perfect, because we literally just had this conversation last week, because I started to go to prenatal yoga.
Yeah.
So I met a mom, she's 6 weeks postpartum, and we talked about doulas and talked about birthing class. We talked about a bunch of stuff. And she said that her husband really wanted to play that role of the doula. He was very confident that was his role, and which is amazing. That he knew that about himself, that he wanted to be that person. So I just mentioned that to my husband, because I was like, if that's something that you thought about but never mentioned to me, that's also something that we need to talk about. If not, then let's look into the doula route. And then it ends up being a big talk in the office with just talking to other dads that come in with their wives, and just talking about that role, what it means to them.
Yeah, and I think one of the dads mentioned earlier today that he feels like the big misconception with doulas is that it's just for mom.
Right.
And I think a lot of dads, first-time dads or spouses, think that it's just for the individual that's birthing the child, but it's really for that spouse or support system, because they have never seen the person they love the most in that state of maybe they're zoned into their own zone, or maybe they're showing signs of being uncomfortable, or the contractions getting stronger, or transitioning through the different stages. And sometimes dads need to step away because they feel like they don't know what to do, or sometimes dads are also getting emotional during the state, or don't know how to be helpful. And I think that's the biggest thing, is they don't know what to do, because if they touch you, you're yelling at them. If you don't touch them, they're yelling at you. And so they're like, what do I do? And so it's not only helping the mom prep and be ready, but also the dad and supporting them. And dads have their own set of emotions as well, that sometimes having the doula who has intimately gotten to know your family ahead of time and can help the spouse or the dad transition through their emotions as well as the mom. It's sort of like the birth story. A lot of times we talk about birth stories and mom's birth stories. Dads also have their own birth story as well in the way that they view the pregnancy. And it's also important to make sure that we empower the dad as much in his birth story as much as the mom as well.
Yeah.
And I think doulas also provide that. And I feel like another misconception with doulas is also that they're, and the book talks about it too, is that it's a glorified cheerleader. It's like that cheerleader that's there. They really are knowledgeable people. It's very similar to like, can you sell your house without a realtor? Like, yeah, you can sell your house, but did you cross your T's and dot all your I's?
Right.
Like, can you, lawyers and attorneys are there to help support you during processes that you normally wouldn't go through. Why? To make sure that you are supported and have all the information you need. And that's what a doula is for birth. It's that individual who has been to several other births, has seen many birth play in different ways, and helping support you as best as you can. And sometimes there's a traditional things that happen in birth, and doulas help you kind of feel empowered with research and knowledge about making different choices. It could be, okay.
Well, I was gonna say, or the things that don't always happen, or the things that you don't plan. I feel like, and for me, that's like my big, I guess, worry.
Yeah.
That it's not going to go the way that I picture it, and it probably won't, and that's okay. But that's the another person that it's not my husband saying, "Remember we talked about this." It's someone else that knows and has seen it and been through it, because neither one of us.
Yeah, and to let you know, like, hey, this has happened to other moms. You're totally okay. It's going to be okay. You're in good care with good hands. We had a doula as well for our birth, and so we were planning a home birth, and due to preeclampsia, we ended up being in a hospital. And so I remember my doula telling me ahead of time, because I was so like, oh my gosh, this birth is going to be amazing, and it's going to be this way. And she kept telling me, like, oh, you have to be open to the idea and have to accept that birth has its own ways of being, and we can't, that's one thing we can't control in our lives, which I think was hard for me. I'm a business owner where I like to control things and do things, and so we spoke about this in the most perfect time, because it allowed me time to process it and be open to whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And that made that hospital unexpected induction at 32 weeks easier for me to process postpartum, easier for me to deal with my own emotions during that time as well. And she also had a visit with us afterwards, and like looking back, my husband is, I'm super thankful, but I feel like my husband is super, super thankful to her, because she was able to help us deal with our emotions with having a NICU baby and being new parents and just figuring it all and transitioning. And so for her as our doula wasn't only our doula at birth and when we were pregnant, but really helping us transition as new parents into the world, into our new roles, and what that was going to be like. So yeah, that was our experience as a doula. So I'm also a trained doula. I've attended several births, from home births to hospital births to birthing center births, and your role definitely changes with each family. Their needs are different. What they want is different. Some moms are more hands-off. Some moms are more hands-on. And that's totally awesome. And some women desire to have more natural births, some more medicated births. And that's totally awesome. A doula really should empower you in the choices that you make. And I think that's maybe one way to pick your doula is, do you feel empowered? Do they allow you to feel empowered in the choices that you make? Because what you want might not be what another mom wants. And that's awesome and okay. To choose. So yeah, that was my experience with the doula.
Well, that's like, I think the next step is talking to a few and just kind of deciding what works best for us. And it's just like picking a OB or a midwife or however you want to do that. It's just finding somebody that kind of jives with what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and it's like that gut feeling, or who do you feel connected with? At the end of the day, who do you feel most connected with that's gonna share this sacred moment with you and your family, this intimate moment, and who do you feel will support you the way you need to be.
So yeah, that's the next step for us.
Awesome.
The big one. It's a big step.
It is. the other thing we wanted to just quickly update on is what is going on with baby at week 16. So according to this, baby is developing creases on the in he or she's palms and their unique fingerprints, which is kind of cool to think about because it's like week 16. They're not even like halfway through the pregnancy.
There's so far still to go.
And it's also talking about how baby starts to recognize sound during this time. And how there's research that actually shows that when they're born, they actually recognize mom's voice. And so that's really cool that it starts in week 16. So, so many neat things start to happen so early on. So, awesome. Well, anything else?
This was the first week for me, and I feel like this is different for everybody, that I felt the first movement, that I actually physically could feel the first movement, the flutters or whatever you call it. It was a very strange, it was late at night, so I was like watching TV before I went to bed, and I was like, like I didn't know what was going on, and it was pretty cool. I shoved my husband to wake up thinking that he could feel it. He could not. So it's really exciting because I think the day before I had just said I can't wait to feel her. I keep saying her instinctually, but I just think it's such a cool thing that you don't know how that feels until you feel it.
Yeah.
Especially for being a first time, and maybe it's always the same no matter how many times you're pregnant, but it's really cool. So.
Aw, well that's exciting. Thanks for sharing that. So follow up with us. We will be back on next week Wednesday, and next week Wednesday we'll talk about whatever week 17 has in the Mama Naturals book. If you are pregnant or know someone's pregnant, please feel free to share this video with them. Have them follow us on our Facebook page and Instagram page, as we will be posting different pregnancy things as we go through this pregnancy in the office. So we'll see you at our next
Bump day.
Bump day. Yep. Have a great